Approaches to talent development assignment, Jensen Beaver. So this assignment is about the talent development, which refers to the structure and identification of the pathways which football academies within South Yorkshire try and find their group of players to then excel, helping them mentally, physically, psychologically and socially. And Williams and Riley state this, helping that this helps them grow technically within football, making sure they grow within the right environment. So starting off, scouting begins within the early ages of 6 to 8. This can differ, this can be from 5 to 10 or even up to 16, and scouting can happen all the way throughout life. The early skills is important, so this is such as scouts will look for listening behaviours, how they adapt to failure. So Veronese looks at the long-term development of predicting success. So this will be, I know that Rotherham United Academy, they look at how they can bolster players to ensure that they play and try and get to professional footballers. However, I've done some research, and Manchester City, they look for players that will play nationally and go on to be able to play at that next world class level. So if we look at the early years of football within South Yorkshire, there is a common theme that the players will be good mentally and physically. So these players will play for the top grassroots teams and then get scouted, which hopefully for the long-term plan for these teams that scout the players will have a good structure, will then leading them through the changes, through puberty. The players will develop, meaning they will ensure they have the right attributes and characteristics to then go on and play the professional football for whichever team. Teams that scout like to be able to look at a player and try and think, where could they be? Could they go on and make the club some money from starting in the academy going all the way through? Or could they be a first team player and push on to be a national team player for their current nation? So for the long-term athlete development, this outlines athlete growth, so how they develop once they are in the elite level not elite, in the performance zone, so playing professionally and in the academy. So this will help from basic movement to training to win, so learning about the tactics. This is often used amongst academies. Bailey says this. So this helps the athletes grow, and it just helps them understand what the manager wants from them. So this could be holistic development, so the focus is on mental and emotional traits such as resilience. So in a game situation within the training, they will give the players a scenario. So they are 2-1 down with 4 minutes left. What do they need to do? How can they adapt? So using adaptability and using their mindset, how can they adapt and fulfill the aims of the session to score that goal and to push on and maybe to score another. This is so the development of the athlete is not just within their body, it's within their mindset as well. So Henriksen described as if the whole athlete. So talking about the brain, how that works, and yeah, so the coachability. So the coachability starts from the early years. So if you are a coachable young player from the ages of 6, then you will have the best chance of going to the top, due to the coaches will have their biggest impact on you as a person. So if there's a 6-year-old who's not the best at football, however a great listener, then the academies that's something that they will look at and pick out upon. So I know that Doncaster Rovers do this. I was speaking to one of the scouts there, and they look for how the individual listens. Is there eye contact there when the individual is talking, or are they looking elsewhere? Are they wanting to see what's going on the next pitch at the side of them? This is all things to look out upon. So development there should address the whole athlete, like Henriksen said. So when footballers do their scholarship from the ages of 16 to 18, they learn to do a skill. So they often get their PT training, personal training. Therefore, if football does not work out for them, then they can transfer those skills that they've learnt and go on to be something else within the sporting background. So a lot of academies looked for seeking players who have future potential. So this might go on the parent's height, this could go on how quick they are, and different attributes that the scout sees in the players. So this is not just based on current ability, and this is stated by the Premier League and Reeves. So seeing the players develop during the few years at the club, this will help motivate other players who aren't as good at football but are the ones who want to get better and develop, giving them that intrinsic motivation as well as the extrinsic motivation to push on. So a lot of football academies use data and technology. So this is like getting measured, getting weighed each month, having video analysis and GPS tracking, as well as monitoring wellness such as heartbeat, blood pressure, and refining the training, which will also help with burnouts. Carlin suggests that if a player has a burnout, then they're not going to be up for the challenge, they will be downhearted, meaning the performance will not be the best of their ability. So having the right technology to be able to recover, having the GPS tracking to see how much they've ran, what the maximum exertion level is, this will all have the impact within the results and why the team are doing well or why they're not doing so well. So academies around South Yorkshire look for technical proficiency. So we've got the control, we've got dribbling, passing, shooting, movement. So all of these developments come at different stages. So from 6 all the way throughout 16, these skills are the fundamentals of football, and they will help develop and they will grow each and every time they train and want to try and achieve this. They will also learn tactical awareness, so decision making and movement off the ball. So this is more about learning how to move and read the game a bit more. So this will come into the players around 13. So when they understand the game, they understand where they need to be. However, elite level players, so those who play for National League or in the Premier League, national team or in the Premier League, they will know when to make that movement, when to be direct, or when to move out of the way if there's an offside call. And this will be taught within training. Sometimes they train without footballs, which will help understand the movement, meaning they can go over this in their head, meaning there will be more chances and opportunities created in the game. So the physical potential that the scouts look at is speed, strength and stamina. So this is something that can always be worked on. So speed, you can do some agility, strength, you can do some weight training in the gym, and stamina, you can do some cardiovascular endurance training. So whether this is wearing an altitude mask to help you perform, whether this is to do some squats within the gym, or whether this is to do some shuttles, making sure every run you do is quicker. So psychological traits: resilience, attitude and adaptability. So as also implementing this within the football setting, it's also taken outside of football. So having resilience, this could, some academies place their players in what they call digs, so it's houses with a family who they've never met before. So this might be having to speak to them when you are nervous as a person, and brings you out of your comfort zone. So your attitude will improve towards different people. As you get older in the academy system, they media train you. So this is another part of football that you don't often see. However, getting media trained will help that you don't say something that you aren't meant to in front of the press, leaving yourself a good reputation. And adaptability, this shows that you can adapt under whatever circumstance and you do not stress. You can play multiple positions, and this is what academies look for. Academies look for players that play in current positions, however look flexible to be able to move into a different position. So family support and lifestyle. So as mentioned before, some players live away, however some players live at home, and their commitments may be a bit different. However, the academy will want them to prioritise football and not risk an injury playing for somebody else or playing a different sport. And the commitment, they will want the player to be 99% committed to the club. So however, leaving for a family member's funeral, wedding, etc., they will understand that, as they are still humans and they are still young people. So the early specialisation may lead to overuse and injuries and burnouts. So Coate uses this and speaks about how burnouts can lead to injuries throughout the season. So if the players are playing 4 times a week and training twice, then the players aren't going to enjoy playing the football, and they also aren't going to use all the energy, as they will want to preserve some for the next games. So for me, the way that the academy system could change is from helping the athletes understand how they can recover more, leaving better performances on the pitch. However, there will be an academy member that will go on to be an elite level player. So elite level player playing in the very top level. However, there'll be some that drop out early, leaving them having to get a job that is not in football.